Imagine a city, frozen in the grip of winter, where every street, every building, every single room became a battlefield. A place where the temperature plunged to unimaginable lows, and the very air you breathed could kill you. This isn't a scene from a dystopian novel. This is Stalingrad, 1942. And what happened here next shocked everyone, changing the course of World War II forever. In the annals of human conflict, few battles loom as large or as devastating as the Battle of Stalingrad. For 5 brutal months, this industrial city on the Volga River became the epicenter of a struggle that would decide the fate of nations. It was here that Hitler's seemingly unstoppable war machine met its match, not just against an army, but against an unyielding will to survive and the unforgiving wrath of winter. By the end of this video, you'll understand how a single city became the graveyard of an empire and the true cost of a dictator's obsession. In the summer of 1942, Hitler's ambitions burned brighter than ever. His armies, having swept across Europe, now turned their gaze eastward, deep into the Soviet Union. The target, Stalingrad, not just a strategic industrial hub, but a city bearing the name of his arch-nemesis, Joseph Stalin. For Hitler, capturing Stalingrad was more than a military objective. It was a personal vendetta, a symbolic victory that he believed would break the Soviet spirit. He diverted vast resources, including the elite German 6th Army under General Friedrich Paulus, towards this singular goal. But what the Germans encountered wasn't the swift victory they expected. From August 1942, the Luftwaffe unleashed a firestorm, reducing much of Stalingrad to rubble. Yet, from the ashes, a new kind of warfare emerged. This wasn't the blitzkrieg of open fields. This was the Rattenkrieg, the Rat War. Fighting devolved into a brutal, claustrophobic struggle for every inch of ground. Soldiers battled in the ruins of factories, apartment blocks, and even sewers. A single grain elevator became a fortress, changing hands multiple times. A fortified apartment building, known as Pavlov's house, held out for 60 days against relentless assaults. Why did this urban nightmare, this grinding, close-quarters combat, prove so devastating to the German war machine? As the German 6th Army became increasingly entangled in the urban labyrinth of Stalingrad, a far greater threat was quietly taking shape. While Hitler obsessed over the city, Soviet General Georgy Zhukov was orchestrating a masterpiece of deception and strategy. Far from the ravaged city center, new Soviet armies were secretly massing on the flanks of the German advance, protected by weaker Romanian and Hungarian forces. This was Operation Uranus, a plan so audacious, so meticulously concealed, that it would catch the Germans completely off guard. On November 19, 1942, the hammer fell. The Soviet forces launched a massive pincer movement, striking the thinly spread Axis flanks. Within days, the German 6th Army, along with elements of the 4th Panzer Army, found themselves completely encircled. Over 300,000 German and Axis soldiers were trapped in a vast kessel, a cauldron, with no way out. What the German High Command did next was unbelievable, sealing the fate of an entire army. Trapped and cut off, the German 6th Army faced a grim choice: attempt a desperate breakout or hold their ground and await relief. Hitler, blinded by his ego and convinced of his own infallibility, forbade any retreat. He promised a massive airlift to supply the besieged forces, a promise that would prove to be a catastrophic failure. Hermann Göring, head of the Luftwaffe, assured Hitler he could deliver 700 tons of supplies daily. In reality, they barely managed a fraction of that. Starvation, frostbite, and disease began to decimate the German ranks as the brutal Russian winter set in, with temperatures plummeting to minus 30 degrees Celsius. Every day, the hope of rescue dwindled. Every day, the Soviet ring tightened. The once proud 6th Army, once the spearhead of the Blitzkrieg, was slowly freezing and starving to death. The psychological toll was immense. Why did Hitler, despite overwhelming evidence, refuse to allow his men to fight their way out, condemning them to such a horrific end? By late January 1943, the situation was hopeless. The 6th Army was shattered, its soldiers mere ghosts of their former selves. On January 30th, Hitler promoted General Paulus to Field Marshal, a cynical gesture implying that no German Field Marshal had ever surrendered, effectively ordering him to commit suicide. But Paulus defied him. On February 2, 1943, Field Marshal Friedrich Paulus, along with the remnants of the German Sixth Army, surrendered to the Soviets. Of the 300,000 men encircled, only about 91,000 survived to be taken prisoner, and a mere 5,000 to 6,000 would ever return home. This wasn't just a defeat, it was an annihilation. The Battle of Stalingrad was more than a military engagement. It was a turning point, a psychological blow from which Nazi Germany would never truly recover. It shattered the myth of German invincibility, boosted Allied morale, and irrevocably shifted the momentum of World War II. The sacrifices made in that frozen, ruined city ultimately paved the way for victory, but they also serve as a stark reminder of the price of fanaticism and the resilience of the human spirit. If you found this journey into one of history's most pivotal battles compelling, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more documentaries that uncover the untold stories and turning points of our past. Hit that like button and share your thoughts in the comments below. What aspect of Stalingrad surprised you the most?